happened to Bjorn? Where did he end up?
I don't know. I don't know.
He tweeted off to Mexico, and that's the last we heard from him.
Did he really? Is that a real statement?
Yeah, he came back to tweet something like 2 more tweets like years after that. But after he was gone from Bellator, his last tweet for years was off to Mexico. And then I found out everyone hates him.
Yeah.
He was always a fucking good guy to me. And I was like, yo, Bjorn's the shit. And then he left.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Bellator fighters that I'm friends with that were on the roster at that time. And they'd be like, I fucking hated him. He's a scumbag. I was like, really?
Yep.
All right,
No idea.
But in all fairness, which promoter's not?
True.
Sure, but most of them, you know that. Like, people hated Bob Arum, Dana's what, you know, like, people were like, Bjorn's the nice, put together, nice MMA guy.
Right, but they've made a lot of people millionaires. So, you know, even the ones that hated him kind of had a love-hate relationship with him because you had to deal with them. I remember asking a couple fighters, like, why do y'all deal with Don King? And it was like, look, Don is going to give me 2 more million than Bob Arum. He's going to steal what he's going to steal, and it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't, you know, but getting into this sport, and I tell all fighters, is promoters and matchmakers are not your friend.
No.
It's kind of a pimp hoe kind of relationship.
Yeah, 100%.
You just don't want to be a streetwalker. You want to be a call girl.
Holy fuck.
Did the number of people back when I was more involved that talked about Sean Shelby like they thought he was actually their friend was breathtaking.
Yeah, like he's a promoter. I mean, he's a matchmaker. He's not your friend. He's going to do what's best for the company. That's not what necessarily what's best for your career. And then people don't know how to manage careers. Fighters don't know how to manage careers. A lot of trainers don't know how to manage careers. It's like, why are you fighting a 50-50 fight on a prelim card? Should not be fighting a 50-50 fight for 8-8. That makes no sense. And even if I have to keep you outside of the UFC or Bellator or any of these other organizations for a lot longer, then that's what you do. Learn how to become a professional. Learn how to, you know, do your strength and conditioning. Learn your craft. Then when you're making real money, then we're in 50-50 fights. But I hear it all the time. I see it all the time. I see it on the internet. I see it on Facebook. They're like, I'll fight anyone. Yeah, and you'll be sipping through a sippy cup after 12 fights, bro. Every fight can't be like we're going to war. Can't do that. Your body only has so many of these in you, and you have to manage it a little bit differently.
Oh, Frankie.
And I mean, Justin Gaethje's probably the most recent evidence to that. That guy was like a human car accident.
Man, I'm so proud that he has changed how he fought. Like, even though I like Dustin and Dustin's my boy and I thought he was going to win that fight.
Yeah.
4 years ago, if Dustin has him in trouble, he's coming out guns a-blazing again. And he'll get knocked out. And he changed. And he's realized, like, if I want to be able to spell my name in a couple years and them not just calling me Jay, I have to change how I do this. And so good for him. But yeah, you can't, every fight doesn't have to be spectacular. Fighters need to learn that. Sometimes we just got to win and move on. And then those times to be spectacular, they'll arise and you take advantage of them. But every fight doesn't have to be this war. I know fans want to see that. But again, fans don't care about you.
What, you don't want to see Leonard Garcia windmilling through every round?
Negative. I mean, and then but anybody checked on Leonard Garcia lately? How is he?
No shit.
You know?
No
I mean,
shit.
people give you these fights and they give you these wars, but do we check on them 10 years later to see how they're doing?
No.
CTE is a real thing. You know, if you go back to 30 for 30, and one of the reasons why boxing is the way it is today, because the heavyweight division doesn't drive it in America anymore, is because of Muhammad Ali.
Really?
He fought sick. He fought when they allowed him to fight when they knew he shouldn't be fighting. And for a lot of people who admired him and idolized him, if you were 6'3", 230, you're like, I'm gonna play football. Not that that's much better, but it's like, I'm not boxing. I'm not doing that.
Wow, eh? And was he aware of that he was sick?
I think he did, but the show must go on. You know, it's like, hey, everybody's counting on me. Vegas counting on me. all these people, and sometimes fighters can fool themselves into believing they still got it. And sometimes you have to have somebody next to you to go, you ain't got it no more.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't want that big check one last time. And that's all that was for Vegas to get a big check. Larry Holmes was pulling his punches. Larry Holmes knew Muhammad Ali didn't have it. And if you watch the 30 for 30, he could barely walk up to get into the ring. He couldn't do the speed bag. It's rumored that he had failed 2 physicals at the Mayo Clinic, but he was still allowed to fight in Nevada and then fight one more time in Bahamas.
Holy shit. So
Yeah.
is that on the athletic commission as well as the promoters for actually letting him? Yeah,
absolutely.
Because we see this shit. Obviously, Dana gets accused of it all the time, fucking orchestrating things behind the scenes, so to speak. And when I completely agree. There's shit that goes on, right? I'm not saying like full on corrupt, but he makes things happen the way he wants them to play out. But when I hear about like athletic commissions or USADA, I've never really known or been like positive if they'll overlook something or whatever it may be, like you're just talking about with Muhammad Ali.
Go to Texas.
Yeah, you know where you can go fight that they're not going to really check things. And back then,
Jersey used to be like that until they weren't anymore.
Yeah, there was a lot of places like that, and Muhammad Ali was the biggest show going. What did that, even up until a couple years ago, until Floyd retired, the athletic commission will tell you they'd rather have a big boxing match than a big UFC match. Nothing against the UFC. It's done really well here. They had crazy pay-per-view numbers and sellout crowds. But their crowd is not the typical boxing crowd who was older.
Mm-hmm.
Crowd came in on Wednesdays. They went to shows. They went to lavish dinners.
Mm-hmm.
They shopped. MMA crowd wasn't doing all that. MMA crowd's coming up on Friday. They're staying 4 in a room at Hooters. They're going to a strip club where one dude gets a lap dance and the other 3 watch.
Yeah.
They're going from the Spearmint Rhino to the elevator bay to catch Chael for an autograph. That's all they're doing.
Right. You're right. So they're not spending that kind of money like older boxing crowd was doing. And so, when that comes to town and when you think of all the millions of dollars that's going to generate, do people look the other way? Because with any athletic commission, almost every one of the executive directors from the athletic commission their job is given to them by the governor. It's an appointed position.
Really?
And nobody knows where any of the money goes for anything because they don't have to have transparency. So when they fine Khabib for $2 million for jumping over the cage to fight Dylan Dennis.
Yeah, I've always wondered that. Where does that money go?
Where does that money go? Nobody knows where that money goes. Nobody ever has to say where that money goes. In any, not just Nevada, that's with any, I've never heard of any money from any commission that they've collected through fines and other things, where it goes.
That's a good point.
There's got to be, even if you would never be able to see the minutia of it, there's got to be what they consider a standardized answer, right? Like they'll say like, oh, lottery, like that, a lot of that money gets funneled back into schools.
Right.
Well, that could be the school of boxing, right? But so there's got to be something somewhere that says like it goes here, and like here may not be real, but
here it's probably not real,
right?
But but nobody knows where that money. They need sweeping reforms. Not Dana, but the UFC, PFL, Bellator, Top Rank, Golden Boy, whatever promotion it is, needs to survive. I don't want them not to make money. They need to be making money so they can pay fighters.
Right, so you can get paid.
So the trainers can get paid. But there should be there should be, okay, this is what happens with this. This contract is for this. This is what you can do. This is what you can't do. Fighters, there are fighters fighting in shows still paying their own medicals.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. No fighter should ever be fighting for $200.
Dude, when my friends in high school fought on regional circuits in North Central Indiana in the early 2000s, they didn't pay their own medicals.
Well, a lot of fighters are still paying their own medicals.
It's fucking bananas.
And
Crazy.
that gets expensive, especially if they're fighting in a small show. And you make $1,500, but your medicals cost you 12, and you have to pay your trainer.
I was gonna say, forget your gym time, your trainer, your partners, your family, your food, your bills.
Yeah. So there should be more uniformity to it. There should be there's numbers out there right now saying the UFC, and people can verify it, see if it's true or not, but they're a publicly traded company now, so you can find out their financials, that last year the fighters only got 13% of the revenue. And even then, it's top heavy. Everybody talks about, oh well, in boxing only the champions are making money. Well, a lot of these fighters, I mean, if they didn't have wives and girlfriends who were taking care of them.
See, that's John's secret, isn't
it? They wouldn't have made it, and it shouldn't be like that. It should be okay. And your managers, I mean, and fighters will sign managerial contracts where managers will take anywhere from 10 to 33% of their fight purse, not their sponsorship.
33.
Yes, I've seen it.
Speaking of that, whatever happened to Jason Janae?
I don't know.
He also disappeared when him and Shane broke up. He fucking died somewhere or something.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but yeah.
Speaking of taking a large percentage, that's what we mean.
Yeah, they take large percentages. I know. I was at a fight talking to an agent. I won't name him here, and he was getting a little inebriated, and he was going on and let me know how much money he was making that night. He was going to walk out with more money than the fighters that night.
Wow.
Because he got so much money. He was even getting part of their fight bonus.
Oh,
is this an old school guy or one of the newer guys?
I'm not giving any hints.
No, I mean, was this recently or was this a while back?
He just said he's not giving any hints.
Well, I'm saying I think now it would be easier to rake in that kind of money because they are paying more. But back in the day, you'd really have to be bending your fighters over to do that.
Oh, they were but the fighters they were making pretty good.
Oh, okay.
They were making pretty good, and it's just but why as an agent?
Because it's mouthy. That's why.
Because you can have 1,000 fighters as an agent. Why are you taking 33% of anybody's purse when you're not negotiating?
Because John doesn't know any better, and Bendo wants their name on his back. That's why.
I'm just saying, but you shouldn't be getting that much money. That's crazy when you're not the one that's developing them. The coaches are not under contracts. Coaches are in handshake agreements, because if we go under contract, then nobody wants to use you because they don't want to pay. Because their stripper wife is now their manager, and she wants to know why you're getting 10%.
You're talking about real people. Because I know exactly who that is, and she wanted more than that.
I'm not even talking about that one. That was more of a generalization. I know where you're going.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, and it's wait a minute. The UFC will call any major gym and go, hey, you got and not only UFC but others, and go, hey, you got somebody that can fill in on short notice. We're going to give them 10 and 10, 20 and 20, 30 and 30.
The Charlie Brenneman contract.
Yeah, and managers who didn't even do anything for that will take 10%, take 20%.
I mean, to be fair, 10% of $1,000 is not.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot. Trust me, I know. It's not. Oh, that's all we get.
And then, what killed me though is not even that, because I think even 10, 15 years ago that was even more rampant than people ever wanted to believe. But when they really put that last fucking nail in the coffin on sponsors. I was like, God damn,
that hurt a lot of people.
Really just trying to take away money from people at this point.
Yeah, that hurt a lot of people, because you could get a mom and pop bar and grill or something in your area that say, hey, you know what? I will give you, $2,000 a month if you put my logo on your shorts.
Right.
And that might be all the money that fighter gets, especially if he gets hurt.
Right.
You know, so
Right,
if he could get
Condom Depot don't care about you, bro.
yeah, so if you could get 2 or 3 of them, you know, you were making a little bit of money. You could actually train and not try to, you know, have a full-time job and train. Like when I would tell NBA players this stuff, they laugh. They go, "What?
Oh
What?"
yeah.
They're like, you have to do what? They pay you what?
And you still do it?
Yeah.
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 I think there's
Yeah,
that.
Building downtown. Building downtown. Building downtown. Building downtown.